A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, like, how do you do everything? Like, I feel like you're on top of everything. I have a lot of help. We have a lot of help, but I'm also a complete psychopath, like, when it comes to business.
Full transparency, guys. Like, we're growing a lot in business, and it's a very challenging time.
If you can get to 1 million, you can get to 2, you can get to 3, you can get to 4, you can get to beyond.
Welcome to Brand Talk with Rachel and Drew. I'm Drew.
I'm Rachel.
Welcome to the show. Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm fine.
You got puked on a couple times from the baby.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a big one. I just didn't make a deal about it, but
Yeah.
the baby's been...
I'm real tired, to be honest. I'm very tired.
Yeah. You've been not sleeping very well.
4 months.
For months.
Like 4
Yeah.
months.
4 months. So, but we're still trucking along.
Yeah.
Maybe some naps are in your future. You can't nap though.
My schedule is slammed. No,
but if it wasn't though, would you be able to nap?
No, I would just be catching up on stuff that I'm
I know, but if
behind
there's
on 'cause
nothing
my
to
schedule's so
do,
slammed.
I know, but like work is never ending, unlimited, forever. If everything was done,
I would be like, I'd be creating something. I mean, that, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So I don't, basically no naps.
I think this is a great conversation into our topic today of like sticking to the plan and not worrying about your mood, because yes, I'm absolutely exhausted. I slept like, I don't know, 30-minute increments with like an hour and a half in between them last night, but like I'm still up, got ready, washed my hair, blow dried my hair, and ladies, you guys know how freaking time consuming that is. So did that, makeup, all the things, and here I am. So
Yeah.
whatever.
So we're going to
Got
talk about
things to do.
Just a lot of people are all wrapped up in their mood, all wrapped up in what they feel like doing and what they feel like not doing. And they'll talk a lot about their feelings, and we feel things as humans, but you can go down a rabbit hole of nothingness, and it's really not to go David Goggins on everybody, but it's like there's discipline that goes into like building these businesses. And if you have a bunch of kids, it's much harder. If you don't have kids, you ain't busy. Sorry. You have ruffled some feathers, but as soon as you have a kid, you're like, holy shit, like this is nuts.
I think when you have a kid, you realize, okay, I have to be more intentional with my time if I'm going to get this done, because you have to now, diversify where you're spending your time. And so like there is less time for sure. Like I mean, there's some days I hardly even get on Instagram. Like I don't even know, you're like, oh, did you see this thing I sent you? I'm like, I haven't even been on there all day. I have no idea, So it just depends on the day, but I'm certainly not, there's not a lot of moments or pockets of time where I can just be entertained. Usually if I'm, like if I put the baby to sleep and I'm just like laying in bed next to him, I've already showered and ready for bed. You're getting showered, ready for bed. I'm just catching up on stuff. I'm not like scrolling and shopping or whatever. It's just like I'm in base camp. I'm checking notifications. I'm closing tabs in my brain so I can go to sleep.
Yeah. And so full transparency, guys, like we're growing a lot in business, and it's a very challenging time for us. Just through the growth, I'm really careful about this. I don't want to, and I'm not complaining, and I try to not. No one's perfect, but we're very grateful for what we have. But like you pray for these things and you go for it. You put everything all into it, and then you're given what you got. You're allowed to live your dreams, so to say. But it ain't easy. It's very difficult. Even I would say more difficult through growth. A
lot of people are like, oh my gosh, like how do you do everything? Like I feel like you're on top of everything. And I'm like, well, that's really nice that you guys think that, but I have a lot of help. We have a lot of help, but I'm also a complete psychopath. Like when it comes to business, like I love what we're building. I love what we're doing. I love who we're helping. And it's not like, I guess I was not going to say it's not hard. It is hard, but it's not, it doesn't feel hard when you're doing something that you want to do. So I think for everybody listening, it's very easy for people to kind of fall out of love with their business or what they're pursuing. And I think that you have to figure out, like what were the things that got me so excited and fired up about that thing in the first place, and like go back to that place or create something new and exciting in the business that gets you kind of fired up again. So that way you're excited and you want to show up, you know, and it's not like you're operating out of your feelings and you're like, okay, I don't feel like working on my business. I don't feel like checking my emails. I don't feel like responding to this. I don't feel like training this person. And then you just kind of sit on your couch and go escape on your phone and go live in some alternate universe for an hour or 2 hours. And when you come out of that, you've literally accomplished nothing and you're further behind than when you started.
Yeah.
All right, guys, real quick. If you're a salon owner who's tired of grinding behind the chair with nothing to show for it but a sore back and an inconsistent bank account, you need to BYOB, build your own brand. This is our signature program helping salon owners all across the country launch their own private label hair extension line under your name with your profit margins and your rules.
It's not just about services. It's about creating an actual brand that can sell while you sleep. Our students are launching their own Shopify stores, wholesaling to local stylists, and finally stepping into the CEO seat without having to reinvent the wheel.
We're literally handing you the playbook: branding, fulfillment, marketing, legal, all of it. If you've got the hustle, we've got the system.
Click the link in the description below to book a discovery call with our team. Let's build a business that works for you and not the other way around.
BYOB, because doing hair should be because you want to, not because you have to.
Or you'll have fostered, you start looking at other people's lives and you want what they got going on. You start comparing yourself to all the Instagram stuff.
But you're unwilling, if people are doing that and they're cynical of what somebody else has and they're not willing to do the work to get to where that person has gotten, like that's not really realistic.
Yeah. And then two, let's talk about volume. Let's talk about the amount of work that goes into building something to be successful. And then successful, call it, I don't know, what, 2 million, 3 million a year. Most businesses don't break $1 million, but let's be crazy. Let's call it $3 million business. Like the amount of volume that is required to get to a profitable $3 million a year company. Like, let's talk about that. I think people grossly underestimate.
I don't really know if it's volume that gets you there. I think what gets
work?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, like a lot of
work?
Yes, of work. Yes. I was thinking like clients, contracts, etc. It's
just effort.
It is consistency and discipline and like you showing up every day despite how you feel and sticking to the plan and not just continually, what I see a lot of is like there's like spurts of energy where you're like, oh, I'm so excited to do this thing. I'm going to go work really, really, really hard and then I'm going to burn out and then I'm going to just fall off the earth for a day or the weekend and I'm going to get back to it on Monday. And it's just like there's this start, stop kind of behavior that happens a lot of times. And that's why people never make it to their first million because they're not consistent. If you can get to $1 million, you can get to 2, you can get to 3, you can get to 4, you can get to beyond. It is a just habit forming type of like behavior that you have to keep yourself on track, respect your time. If you don't respect your time, nobody else is going to respect your time. And I will say, regardless of what business I'm thinking about in this moment, I would say the biggest challenge I face is protecting my time these days so that I can work on these businesses and show up in them the way that I know I could. And when you are trying to build $1 million company, a $2 million, whatever it is going to come down to like, you can't delegate stuff out to other people before you've already mastered it and you've gotten your business to these different milestones. And then you can start delegating things out. I see people try to exit their business too soon. Maybe not like a sale, but more so like exiting their salon and delegating everything to everyone else except for themselves before they have actually taken their business and hit $1 million, $1.5 million, $2 million, and then because when you hit those numbers and you pass the baton, please know they are not going to run at the rate and at the pace that you do. They're not going to have the exact eye for everything that you do. And that's the same thing in our businesses. Like when I start delegating things out, there's going to be a slight dip. Like I'm not going to say to you guys like, oh, everything is perfect and has grown at the same speed. Like if it's your business and you're the one that's got skin in the game and you're the one that has money on the line, you show up differently than people that don't have money in in the game and money on the line. And you have to get your business to a really great place so that way you have a little bit of buffer for things to slip a tad if this person isn't going to perform at the same volume rate.
Because they will. Things are going to slip a tad.
Yeah.
Things are going to totally fall flat.
It's always refinement. Always.
Constantly.
It doesn't matter what, I mean, every business that we have, every business that we are in, it's always refinement. We're always refining things all the time. I mean, that's really what my name should be, is refinement. Like, that's like all I do all day long is refine things and try to look for inefficiencies and make things better. But when, like, if I were to show up, let's say, to any of our businesses and I just don't feel like, you know, being the owner that day, it doesn't matter what I feel. I am the owner that day. I am that owner every day. And I've got to do what I need to do to make sure that business has what it needs to be successful.
Yeah. And then there's just, and people get stuck there and they won't put forth the full effort that is going to be required to get the result. So this happens with teams too. So on the acquisition side, I'm not going to name any names, but we had people who we liked worked for us and that were, you know, we were doing a lot of work together, ended up going their own way because they weren't making the money that they thought. This might happen with stylists too. Like they want to make more or earn more.
They don't want to do anything.
One, they're not earning it. And they're not doing what needs to be done to earn what they want to earn. So, and they'll be on track to earn. Like I looked at this individual's commissions. They're double from the previous month.
Yeah.
So they're growing and they've only been a few months working for a few months and then they quit and then now they're going to start over and now they're going to go back to square zero with probably a less organized company, maybe not. And just they're going to just be stuck in this perpetual cycle, this hamster wheel for who knows how long.
It's restarting every single time. It's restarting. Instead, stay. Okay, maybe things aren't going exactly the way that you want. Communicate. Let's be collaborative. Let's figure out a path to like make things better, more efficient, whatever the case may be. Stylists do this all the time. They are at a salon for a short period of time, which yes, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years is still a short period of time when you think about your career. And they're there for a very short period of time. And a lot of times they'll have this false sense of like booked and busy just because maybe their day, you know, their time blocks are all stretched out and their day looks busy. There's not a lot of openings. But when you really look at the data and you go back and you don't look at just this week, you don't look at just this pay period, you start looking at last month, the previous quarter, this year so far, where are you at in relation to where you're supposed to be on the KPI tracking sheet and at the level that you are placed at and priced at, where are you at? And a lot of times these stylists or anybody in business think, okay, well, I'm going to just piece out here and everyone's going to follow me over there. That is not true. People don't do that. You don't get to choose and decide for all these other human beings if they're going to continue going to you for whatever. 9 times out of 10, that client ends up staying with the salon because the salon it's a legitimate business. It's been business for years and years. It has systems, it has processes, it has all these different things, and it has support where you've got somebody that goes from working a commission, or I'm not even gonna say commission salon, just a salon in general, where there's other human beings. It's not like a studio. And then they leave and they go to a studio. What ends up happening is now you are a one-man show or one-woman show, and you're having to do everything, and you can't do everything really well because it's your first time ever doing it on your own anyway, and you're trying to replicate what you just had that was dialed in, perfected, tons of helping hands, tons of support. You're trying to replicate that in your one person, where this business over here had like 10 people doing all of those things. So that's what ends up happening when you end up having a person that ends up leaving, and they think like, oh, this, I'm going to make more doing this. Actually, you usually make less because you are trying to do everything and you can't do everything. And that business wasn't doing everything themselves either. Like that owner wasn't doing everything herself. She had everybody, in their roles, in their responsibilities, doing all the things. It takes a village. And that's what yields people who end up starting over. So people like that end up having to restart, and that's okay, but a lot of people don't think about that or consider that when they're going to make that very huge change in their career and their life. So same thing in the sales, anything. You're always going to have a lot of business that's not going to follow, and you're going to have a season of restarting with anything.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about that.
Okay.
Salon owners, this is your moment. SalonCon 2026 is happening in Miami, January 24th through the 27th. This is the ultimate event to bring your A players. Leave all your B's and C's at home. Not only will they get it certified in a brand new extension method, they'll also learn the sales and marketing strategies that actually grow revenue and keep your clients coming back for more. This is a 3-day event of high-level education, luxury networking, and powerhouse speakers, all designed to future-proof your business. Bring your team, elevate your business. Join us at SalonCon Miami, where millions are made. Get your tickets in the description below. Now back to the episode.
So we want to make a quick episode for you guys today. Just how to go about your work and really think about what you guys got going on. The amount of but really like dig in, because if you're really wanting to build something special, it's going to take just a tremendous amount of work. It is about 1,000 times more work than you think that it's going to be, maybe more. Right. So I know first started my first company, I was 3 years in. I thought in 3 years, like I'll be cruising. 3 years came by and I was in a worse spot than I was when year one, I actually had a better first year than I did the third year because I was trying to change too many things. I was jumping all over the place, trying to figure out by doing all this extra stuff. And I just wasn't doing keeping the main thing to double down on what I was good at.
Well, a lot of times when you start something new, it's exciting. You have momentum. There's
Feels
a lot
good.
of course, it feels good. You're energized. And then it sets in like, oh crap, I actually have to like run this thing. Like, yeah, the honeymoon phase is over. Like, this is your business. You have to run it. It has to be successful and profitable. Otherwise, like, you're screwed. And so that ends up happening with any business, any relationship or anything. Like, you really start to realize like, okay, what is it really? And I will say, yes, it's 1,000 times harder to start a business, to run a business, whatever, like you said, but you can do it. Anyone can do it. Mm-hmm. Everyone. There's no advantage that one person has over the other than their mindset and their ability to lean in when things get hard, or the person that's going to throw in the towel because they're uncomfortable.
There's a lot of that.
Well, nowadays, yeah, because I mean, yes, as humans anyway, we want to be comfortable, right? As a primal thing, we want to be comfortable, we want to be safe. But as a just somebody living in 2025, I mean, everybody is all about comfort. Comfort food, comfort clothes, comfort of your own home. There's DoorDash, there's Instacart. I mean, shit, you don't even have to go get your own groceries anymore. You can just so easily delegate things out, and people want to do that way too soon in their business, and that ends up yielding this very unproductive mood that they'll likely operate in. If you're delegating things out, you should be adding more important things to your plate that are going to move you further.
They're going to make money.
Yeah, you have to make money. You have to make money, and you have to grow the business. That's your goal as the founder of the business, is to grow the business, period. And to keep it not just afloat, but keep it swimming.
Yeah, so we want to leave you with that is, comfort and convenience is going to kill your business. You have to go out and do the uncomfortable things and get comfortable being uncomfortable, because it's just, if you're not there yet, it's coming, and it's only coming if you're successful.
Yeah.
Because it's hard. Everyone starts in the same spot.
Everyone experiences the same exact moment in life and business where they're like, oh shit, this is hard. And they consider quitting. Everyone. I'm sure you thought that at some point in your journey owning the gyms. I certainly have thought that in the early days of owning the salon or being on my own as a stylist, whatever. Even in your own relationships and friendships, relationships, there's this fork in the road where if you decide that you might consider quitting whatever that thing is because it's uncomfortable, it's not going as perfectly as you planned or whatever, and something didn't work out the way that you anticipated, but really
never does.
No, nothing works out the way you anticipate.
Not gonna, when you make it to where you're trying to make it, it's not going to look and feel the way you thought it was going to look and feel. It'll still be good and all the good things, and it'll just be different. Mm-hmm. And you got to be open to that.
Be open to it, and anticipate that. Anticipate, hey, this is my vision for this company. And I'm not going to stray from the core things that make this the vision. However, I am not going to be so damn stubborn and so stuck in my ways that I am unwilling to detour, make a few pit stops, figure out things to get to my destination, and as long as you keep going, I'm just literally thinking back to the episode we have with Papa on the podcast. I mean, at his age and almost 80 years old, I mean, he's spot on. You just have to keep going, and there is no quitting, period.
Yeah.
And if you quit, you're a fucking quitter. So you deserve to be unsuccessful.
It's worse because you start over. It's not like you start a new thing and it's better.
If something's not working, pull the plug on it. Be smart enough to pull the plug on it and reroute. Figure it out. But don't just sit there and just be in a pity party, just not doing anything. If it's not working out and it's not gonna work out and you can't dedicate the time to it, pull the plug. I mean, there's stuff we've pulled the plug on this year, and I'm like, okay, it is what it is. Nothing, no hard feelings. It just didn't work out.
No one gets it 100% right 100% of the time.
No.
So, and you have to take, I'm a big proponent of this, of taking care of yourself so that you can continue to do this for decades. Because I think if they go too deep too fast and also lose what their desire, then it's gonna bite them in the butt again, and they're not going to be able to see it through because of whatever physical thing is going on with them, and then they won't make it to the big leagues, if you will.
I think for the people that are listening who are maybe in that mood of they're just kind of in a rut. They're I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't know how to grow this thing. I don't know what to just they just don't do anything. I don't think they need to be thinking about themselves in that moment. I think they need to be thinking about others, because they need to understand that they have to figure this out. This is their business, and there are people literally working there and people counting on that income to provide for their families. And you have to, if that doesn't motivate you, then you should close the doors, because
If you don't care,
you just don't care. Yeah. Don't care. And it's just a pity party, but there's a lot to be learned from this episode. And I really hope that, I hope for the people that are crushing it, killing it, they're they have some awareness of okay, what could happen? Where could I, if I ever get to this fork in the road, I'm going to remember these different tips and tricks and stuff to kind of get myself out of that space. And for anyone listening, and you're just, love you guys, but you've been a little bump on the log. It's time to make a move, figure it out. You're going to make it happen, or, are you going to just let's just make a decision. We're either doing it or we're not doing it. Make a decision and don't just sit there bump on a log. So,
yep.
But yeah, we love you guys. This is a part 1 of a 2-part episode. So this next one that you guys are going to be listening to, that we'll be releasing, we're going to go a little bit deeper on this topic. And if you haven't listened to the first part, which is this episode first, definitely do before you move on to the following. But I think this is going to be really, really crucial for people to listen to, especially as we start getting into the more comfortable months of the year, because that's when diets start slipping, and, gym check-ins are low, and, and then of course everybody tries to get their butt back in gear before January. So
really operate in the opposite direction that the crowd is operating in. Mm-hmm. Right. If you're alone and doing things solo, that's typically a good thing. If you're doing a bunch of things with a bunch of people around all the time, not so good. Right, yeah. So hope that's helpful. We're going to wrap up this episode, and thanks for listening. We'll see you on part 2.